Alright guys, I'm going to walk you through putting back the transmission back together real quick. I'm not going to do the whole thing and record it. I'm just going to, like I do sometimes, just walk you through it. So here we are. Once again, this has the Waterloo Specialties overdrive in it, so there are a couple of small differences. You got to put the main shaft and the counter shaft in together. Can't do them separately. That's the big difference. Very important that you remember to put this back in. This is a thrust washer, and you can see it's got a little wear. That thrust washer goes on the front of the counter shaft, and to put it back in, you put some red grease on one side of it, and you stick it down there. It goes around the nose on that and back against the gear. So that keeps the counter shaft from moving back and forth. If you forget that, you're going to have all kind of problems. So, yeah. Now, with the Waterloo kit, once you get that stuck there, you've got to put your main shaft back in, assuming your input shaft is already in, and that goes in from the inside once again. In fact, I can go ahead and... The reason I haven't set this back in there is because I don't have that thrust washer stuck on there yet. So, put your thrust washer on, put your input shaft back in. Once you get it all the way in, put your snap ring on the outside. Then you can sit your main shaft down in there with no bearing on the tail. Okay? It's very important you don't have the bearing on the tail yet, or you won't ever get it in. Or tail, other end. Once you get it in there, you put your 4.5 synchro hub on. And then on a stock transmission, you can lay it in and slide it forward into the rollers that you've already got installed in the back and the inside of the input shaft here with grease. It'll go right in. Then you can put your back bearing on, or if you've not fully torn it apart like this, your bearing is still on there, you slide it in place and put all your the rest of your retainer back together back here, and you're good to go. You put your top cover on. But with the Waterloo kit, you've got to set both of the shafts in there, and if you follow the instructions on the website, the Waterloo Specialties website, you've got to use a friend and a piece of wire down around the counter shaft and pick it up and put the nose of that in its bearing down there. At the same time, you're putting the nose of this in the input shaft. Now, that can be a pain. What I did was, when I put this together the first time, which was the last time with the Waterloo kit, I got both shafts as close as I could get them, and I just picked up on the back of the transmission with the bell housing setting on the ground with like a 16-inch white trailer rim there, so the input shaft would go through the center of it, and as soon as I tipped it up on its nose, both shafts fell right into place, so I didn't have to fight it at all. That was, I mean, smoother than glass. But once you get all that done, you know, make sure your back bearing retainers are on. Torque them to 25-30 foot-pounds, not a whole lot. Your back flange nut, your drive flange nut, I don't know what the torque on it is. I usually just run it up with an impact good and tight till there's no end play on the shaft, because that's what this sleeve does, is it sets the bearing, you know, the bearing goes here, your sleeve goes there, the flange goes against it and pushes up and takes your slack away from the bearing. Preload, in play, whatever, however you want to say that. I'm getting ahead of myself here and can't think clearly, so. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that real quick. I've got to get this thing back together, so thanks for watching, guys. Hope this is helpful to you, and like and subscribe, share the video, comment, and we'll see you next time.